the Luxe AIRE. In these cases, maybe it looks really similar from the outside, but it is slightly different. They, on the previous guns on the idle, they kind of like, I gotta move something around. The idle, they kind of put the like parts into different compartments. Like, oh, I guess I had it unzipped already. They put this like different compartments. So like you'd open it normal, but then they had these little bags that everything went in. You had to like open this bag to then get to your other like parts or to get to the gun. And, I kind of just, like this normal case. What the hell? This is $1,600. And, they come at a good price range now. I mean, most of the Planet Eclipse guns are being over that $1,500 price. You can get the LV2 on sale right now, but the CS3s are almost $1,900. So this thing coming in at 16 kind of puts it in the middle-ish range. You can get some MacDevs guns for a little bit cheaper, but that's kind of cool how they didn't raise this thing to get to that like $1,800 price or whatever. So you can see it does come with those new PWR barrels. So a lot of these companies now, not just going with traditional freak inserts, they're doing those PWR inserts, which kind of makes these barrels universal, essentially. I mean, almost all of the companies now are using this style insert. So that means you can kind of like swap around inserts, right? You can use the carbon inserts in there. You could use the die inserts in that, 14-inch Luxe PWR barrel. I'm gonna open this chat room. I'm gonna put that back. I kind of like, whoop, that doesn't go there. I kind of like the stuff they come with quite a bit. They're spare parts kits. So we probably don't need to open that all the way, but coming with a bunch of spares. There's ball detents in there. Like those little yellow bits right there are the like soft tip for the bolt. Some rando springs, some metric O-rings, a reg seat it looks like in there. So lots of spare parts, which is good. And kind of tools. I found this kind of interesting. That's a barrel cover smashed in there. But this is kind of neat. You get this little like, keychain thing. These come off. You could kind of flip that around there for some reason. You're not going to probably want to do that. I don't know why you're going to want to use that end on something. But they do come off, so you can take them off if you're going to want to use the Allen wrenches. You can kind of like pull them out of those little like, spring deals. You get a carabiner, bottle opener. This, I know what this is, but I haven't actually looked at this. Look at that. So that is an O-ring pick. Wow, that thing's actually really nice. That thing like screws together really good. Look at that thing. That's made really well. Pop it in there. That's actually really cool. I really like that. That's kind of slick. And yeah, that's your tools. We'll put in there. Gun. You get their quick start manual like always. There's USB charge cable. Solenoid oil, which is a new kind of thing. I've not really seen that before. We have silicone grease for bolt system. So one of the things I kind of don't like about this case is that there's nowhere to really grab it. If we look over at these little parts kits, you can see they put little cutout holes so you can kind of like put your finger in there to get underneath and kind of pop that thing out. This though, when you go to the gun, they didn't do that anywhere. It's just all clean cut everywhere. And it really makes me want to like grab the trigger and use the trigger and pull it out. I wouldn't do that. That's probably not how you want to do that. So the easiest way is probably just, grab the trigger guard and pull it out. But, they should have like put a little cut or something so you can just pull it up. I really want to like grab the trigger or something. It's not a big deal though. It obviously comes out fine. The Luxe AIRE. So let's I'm gonna go to my like list, and we can kind of like go down the list. I should have mentioned as well, this is the first Luxe from the factory, so first factory Luxe that does have autococker thread. There has been the Adrenaline Luxes previously that did autococker thread. That last Adrenaline Luxe Idol had cocker thread, but now your factory Luxe Air autococker thread. Luxe Air. So it does have a new screen. First thing, if we just hold it over, the screen is on the back. That is an AMOLED screen. So that AMOLED screen should be a little bit higher in contrast, and then also a little bit brighter. Previously, like all the Luxes, the power button was on the rear of the grip frame. They have relocated to right there, we'll say inside the trigger guard. So if we turn that on,
powering on. Welcome to the Luxe family. Battery level 100%. Firing mode NXL.
So you can see it still talks, but sounds a little bit different. You know, maybe they just changed the voice on there. And then welcome to the Luxe family as well. No longer the Luxe Experience. But looking at this screen, it does look like when compared to the previous screen that was on the TM40s, or not the TM40, I really meant to say the Idol. Right on the side, it does look a little bit sharper. I would say that the green looks a little brighter, like the colors are a lot brighter, but it does look good. Again, power button turns off right there. One of the reasons they said they relocated that power button was because sometimes guys were accidentally turning the guns on while just holding it. Maybe they have gloves on or something weird, and they're turning the guns off. That's not something that I ever really noticed with the Luxes. I don't think that that was a common problem that I was aware of, but that's certainly something that I've personally had a problem with on other guns. So it's certainly possible. One thing that's funny right away, maybe not funny, but obvious right away, is it is a Luxe, right? It still looks like a Luxe. It still has kind of like those lines that are reminiscent of a Luxe. And if you went like that, it would still look like a Luxe. But some things are a little bit smaller. Like we look at this back cap, and it's just like way smaller now. You know, previous Luxes, the back cap probably would have stretched twice as long and gone quite a bit further into the gun. And then those eye covers as well up front are also a little bit smaller. You still get that bolt coming out the same way, so it's not like, you know, crazy. It's still toolless. From my experience, it does seem a little easier to get that bolt out. Sometimes on these brand new guns, the brand new Luxes, you would really have to pull on that thing to get it out. Why, I don't know, but it was a pain in the ass to get those bolts out sometimes. Also kind of cool, before you had to kind of tilt up that back cap to put the bolt all the way in. But now you don't have to. You can just kind of like push it in. We don't have to do that. It kind of like pushed up for me, but you can just slide it straight in, which is, I don't know, just kind of nice. One of the things that I really did not like about the Idol was this back strap. You got the grips off and just got this whole area apart by removing that aluminum back strap off it. You still do that the same way, so this aluminum back strap does come off, but it's way easy. Before you had to, it was just a pain in the ass. They did actually upgrade it eventually, but this back strap certainly goes on way easier and comes off way easier as well. You take that back strap off to get to the grips or get the grips off, and they just kind of, you know, come off really easy. Some major changes on the inside of this thing, though. I mean, previously all the Luxes did have their regulator in the foregrip. Now we see it inside the trigger guard. That also means that you're going to adjust the velocity on the rear of, or on the bottom of the grip frame, right in the ASA, or that on-off. I really like how if you have it closed, they cut out a hole so you can still adjust it. Or if you have the like air off or whatever. What else in here? Grips come off easy. It is no longer toolless. Previously, you know, we had a latch right here and you could take off the entire lower trigger frame without tools. And I don't know, I think that that's handy, right? That's a kind of a cool thing to be able to do. But I don't know how many people are actually doing that, you know, like how many people are actually like removing. I want to like make sure I do these all perfect. So it goes forward and then kind of pushes this way. Oh, should I do this on camera? But it's like hard to do it on camera because it's hard for me to get in like the right, I don't know, angle on camera. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Backstrap, I don't know. I'm always scared to like break stuff the first couple times. It's all good. Grips come off, it goes on easy. I'm just a pussy and I'm kind of scared. If we go to the front, this other grip though, my God, I could not get this off. I mean, I tried to get this like black rubber grip off for like, oh my God, like 45 minutes last night. And it is just on there. I had to put it in between my legs and was eventually able to shimmy it off. You're supposed to just like take it off like that, like by pushing like up on the, I don't know, whatever this area is called, you know, the barrel area, and kind of pulling down. But I can't for the life of, oh, am I actually going to do it? That's as far as I could ever get it. So I have to put it in between my legs to get this off. Okay, it's off. And, you know, I'd say that these rear grips, the rear grips do feel good, but I don't have it seated right. You can see I did not seat those grips right. That's why I thought it was like weird. I'm just trying to hurry on camera. Okay, that one's on there. I think I got it. Okay. Okay, we're good. Yep, so this grip comes off, but it's like all, you know, hard plastic. It's like 3D printed, or, you know, it's not printed, but it's just hard plastic. I don't really like that. You know, previously, one of the things that I always said I thought I liked about the Luxes, or that made them stand out from the other manufacturers a little bit, is that they were more aluminum, right? When you touched the actual gun, like when you're interfacing with it, like the touch points of the thing, they are all aluminum for the most part. I mean, obviously, we've always had these rubber grips, and it still is aluminum for the most part. I mean, you know, when you're grabbing the front, there still is this aluminum on the front, but they've added this rear plastic kind of grip, which I just don't like. It's just kind of cheap, and I'm just not a big fan. But they've definitely rechanged this eye area a whole lot. So previously, on the Luxe Idol at least, there were latches to hold the eye, or baldy to hold the eye covers. You just pull the latch forward and, you know, they'd kind of come off. Now we can see that little plastic clip right there that I just pushed forward, right there. We pull those down. Eye cover falls right off. And then we can also see kind of how they've redesigned the inside of that eye area too. Going to be much more sealed off. So if you, for some reason, do break paint, it's not going to ooze out the side. You're not going to get like debris into that eye area as much either. These are the new detents. They go in the gun like that, so that every time the gun fires, it will push that detent out of the way. It's going to be so hard to show, so it'll flatten it like that, but it also locks it in place too. So you can see that if it pushes back, it kind of catches on that little post right there. It's so hard to show because it's so small, but the detents are kind of cool. Gone are those complicated detents that we've seen before in the Luxe Smart Parts guns. I cover back on almost. I gotta like do it right. Bam. Clipped back on. Bam. Putting that on is easy though, so it's not hard. Inside there though, kind of like a lot of the Planet Eclipse guns, is a battery as well. You press these two tabs on the side. I tried to do it earlier and I literally just can't do it. I just can't press hard enough. And whatever. A little battery does come out of there that you're going to get lots of shots off. They still charge via USB-C on the back, which I meant to show you when I had the, god damn. That snaps in. USB-C, right there. Back strap. Battery, what else do I have written down? I have Ergonomics, because they have changed a little bit. I mean, it still, to me, feels like a Luxe. I mean, this trigger frame still feels like a Luxe. It's definitely a little bit wider. I mean, you can certainly see that it's a little bit fatter. But to me, like this area right here, it still has that similar Luxe feel. That trigger is much different now, though. Really been completely redesigned, taking those trigger faces as well. So you don't have to change out entire triggers. They can just change that face off. One of the things that Planet Eclipse kind of brought to market and helped popularize those trigger faces. It does feel really good. I mean, the trigger does feel good. It's lightweight, it's responsive, it feels solid in the hand. I didn't adjust it at all, I just kind of took it out, played with the thing. So it does feel a little different, that rear grip. It is a little bit longer, maybe. I mean, maybe just a smidgen longer. But it still will feel similar if you've not held this and you've held Luxes before. It's still gonna kind of feel like a Luxe. It's not like insanely different. They have completely redesigned that whole entire bolt system as well. And I'm not huge up on all the different changes and all the different style bolt systems out there, so I am not the guy to tell you what in all everything is. That's pretty much it. This does unscrew too, but they say like you might need a wrench because they really put it on there. Hence why they like put the hex spots. So me not being able to unscrew it by hand isn't too crazy. That is it. They said that their main objectives with this thing was paint handling and reliability. So just making it easier on paint, but that's kind of the same thing that everybody always says, you know? Every manufacturer is kind of saying that. So brand new bolt as well. There will be a mechanical version at some point. There will be a mechanical frame at least. They probably won't sell the entire gun as mechanical. But there will be a mechanical frame. God, I don't know. I think that's everything. It's almost an entirely different gun, you know? I mean, moving the regulator to the rear of the grip, moving the battery to the front of the gun, moving the power button, changing the screen. You change the velocity somewhere different now. The eye covers completely held in differently. No longer toolless frame removal. Just held really, I should say, I meant to actually kind of do that. I really kind of liked how the frame came off. So it does come off simple. Right, take the bolt off. Believe that's probably the right size. Holy schnick, it's not. Remove single trigger frame screw, and really you can take it off without removing that grip frame, that lower, not lower, but the hell am I trying to say? That front grip. Oh, I'm gonna have to like, oh, I have to like put it in between my legs to get enough leverage. So it's kind of cool. It just goes into this little pivot spot. We can kind of see that little rounded surface right there just slots right in, and bam, you just, you know, screw it together. It holds it in place. That body where the trigger frame kind of slots up in a little bit more. That's something that the DLX guns didn't do for a long time. But started to be introduced, I can't remember what model, but it's been one of the more recent guns. They started making the trigger frames actually slot into the body of the gun. Bam. So yeah, it's not toolless, but you know, you see how fast you can do it. It's not like that big a deal. So even if it's not toolless, it's not like dramatic in how long it takes. You know, I don't know. It feels good. It feels good in my hands. I think that my three, like, my two, like, main takeaways from this is I think that they really just tried to make the thing simpler. You know, it's so much simpler than their previous guns. You know, you think about the Luxe Idol, and the Luxe Idol had, like, I guess we're going to turn this light back on. The Luxe Idol had the craziest, like, toolless bolt removal and stuff, which was really cool. How it had that, like, latch and all that shit in the back. And it was cool, but it was, you know, something else that could go wrong. A little bit more, you know, just stuff that could go wrong. So removing, I think, the overcomplicatedness, like, you know, that toolless frame removal thing. Removing, like, a lot of the complication with the eye covers, how previously they had the latch to just remove it, and they had those, like, crazy detents with the spring and stuff, which were really cool, but maybe a little bit too complicated for paintball, and maybe not even, you know, a requirement for paintball. You know, having something so complicated, you know, I don't know if it really even makes all that much sense. So to me, it's like they tried to make it a lot simpler by removing a lot of the weird complications. And I think that kind of does two things for this company, right? Making these guns a lot simpler by not having, like, as much crazy machined aluminum throughout the body, removing a lot of the little screws and just other little parts. Does two things. It makes it a lot easier to manufacture and probably cheaper to manufacture, just because there's less going on. You know, you got less stuff to make. But it also, you know, for the end users like us, makes it more reliable by removing a lot of that kind of weird stuff. And that's a good thing for the Luxe, right? The Luxes have not really been known for reliability, but certainly these last few variations, we'll say, with like the TM40, the Idol, and now the AIRE, at least have gotten more reliable. So we'll see in due time if it is more reliable, or, you know, as at least as reliable as the previous guns.